If you're looking to get into a fire alarm industry, or if you've been in the fire alarm industry for quite some time, you want to sharpen your skills and you want to get nice out there so that way you can get yourself some more money, especially in this industry, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 skills that you're going to need to become a master technician. There are more skills than 5, but I feel that these are the 5 skills that I pulled out of my technical box so that way I can share it with you and try to break it down to the elemental P so that way you can understand. So what are these 5 skills? The first skill is going to be your technical proficiency. You want to understand the wiring, how the system is wired, what type of system you're working on, being that there's various fire alarm systems out there. Whatever system or manufacturer that you're working on, whether it be Simplex, Notifier, Siemens, Kidder, Edwards, Firelight, whoever, it doesn't matter the system that you're working on. What you have to understand are the components that make up that system. You need to understand the fire alarm control panel, the front display, how do you use the menu, how do you get into the menu, what is the installer's passcode, and what is the default passcode. You want to understand what those cards are on the inside, what the circuitry does, what the end-of-line resistance is for a normal and an off-normal circuit. So you need to understand what all of these values are, so when you out there troubleshooting any fire alarm system, you understand what the normal state need to be. So when it's an off-normal state, you will be able to determine which one of the areas is in problem. Rather it be a missing resistor, a short in the wire, or a bad device, you will be able to determine that because you know what it looks like when the system is normal. Now, the second thing you're going to have to worry about is your attention to detail skills. I know when I first started out, I didn't understand circuitry, series circuit, parallel circuit, what a resistor was, 24 volts, 12 volts, fluctuating voltage for the data circuit. I didn't understand what any of that stuff was. And my problem was being that I was colorblind. Now, when I say colorblind, I don't want to say that I can't see colors. I can see colors, just sometimes I can't distinguish between certain shades of colors. However, not knowing how to wire up a series circuit, I used to always blow out panels wiring the batteries wrong because my attention to detail was off, not knowing that red goes to red, black goes to black, and then when you actually wiring it in series, one lead goes from the black to the red, so that way you can get your 24 volts. So I had to learn a lot within the fire alarm industry. There was a couple guys out there that were showing me how to get to where I need to go, but a lot of them was giving me a lot of clear energy. So what I used to do was sometimes take the equipment home, stay late if I had to. I worked with a lot of the larger companies, and they had in-house training, or they will send us off-site to their own training, whether it be at Florida or wherever state they're going to hold their training at. So you have to have attention to detail. You have to be able to understand what you're working on. Like I said, it doesn't matter the system. If you could have your trusty leader and understand what the circuits are, all you need is a little bit of attention to detail, and you won't be blowing up systems out there costing the company money because these cards are expensive to actually replace, to actually send another guy out there to fix it and to actually program it to get the system back in state. So attention to detail is something that you're going to have to learn in addition to your technical proficiency. So when you understand what the system is, then you'll be able to be more attentive on how you actually troubleshoot these systems. Now, moving on to the third skill you're going to have to sharpen, and this is your problem-solving skill. Now, when it comes to your technical and problem-solving skill, that is when you start to put theory into play. When I was a technician working with these companies and I used to get my service calls, on my way to the job site, I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the problem is, where I'm going to start, who was there prior to me being there, and then I will calculate the type of technician that was there and expect how much work was actually done. But usually I didn't care who was there before. I always started from the beginning to find out exactly what's happening with that circuit, because I know what the normal state needs to be, and if it's off that normal state, I know where I'm troubleshooting, rather it be if I'm looking for a break in a wire, or if I'm looking for a short, or if it's a bad device that's actually bringing the whole loop down. A lot of the difficult troubles when it comes to fire alarm would be ground faults. So a lot of technicians have issues with, fixing ground faults. I don't understand why. It's just, I don't think they're putting in enough effort to actually fix the ground fault. I understand you may have to go in the ceilings to get the duct detectors, or you may even have to go in the crawl space to get the smokes or heat detectors. you have to do what you have to do to find whatever issue being on that fire alarm panel. It's very important. It's very imperative that you know how to solve these problems. It just makes you more marketable within the industry, and it also gets you more money for the company that you're working with. And if you feel you're not getting the money you deserve within a company and you have the skills, there's other companies out there that will guarantee pay you the money that you're actually looking for in order for you to feel that you are receiving your self-worth. So your technical proficiency, your attention to detail, and your problem-solving skills is what you're going to need to sharpen in order to be a master technician within the fire alarm industry. Now, I didn't even mention anything about certifications or the type of certificates that you need to have specifically for New York, especially if you're starting out. You should be looking at your S95. You should be looking into your S98. Within your first year, you should at least have your S95, S98, and your NICET level 1 within that first year. Year 2, you should be getting your NICET level 2. By the time you should be reaching year 5, you should at least be up to NICET level 3. So that way, 10 years in your fire alarm industry, you could go for your NICET level 4. And at that point, you are the top technician in any company or any industry because they can charge more money for you because you are NICET level 4. Now, I am not NICET level 4. I am NICET level 2. I honestly stopped achieving for the NICET level 4 when I started my business. Not to say that I should not get my NICET level 4. However, I can find someone who is NICET level 4 to qualify the company to make me more valuable in the fire alarm industry. So it is imperative for you as the individual, if you're going to stay within the fire alarm industry, to get every certification, to get every panel certification, to get any and every certificate that you could possibly get your hands on, not just fire alarm, maybe also sprinkler, maybe also security, maybe also burglar alarm. You want to versatile yourself. You want to make yourself more marketable in the industry because it's not just fire alarm companies out there. There are also security companies that do fire alarm as well. Maybe not as big as a fire alarm company, but they may have inspections or maybe smaller systems that you could actually work on. The difference is you're going to still be doing fire alarm. So you have to make yourself more marketable. So certifications and understanding the panel that you're working on will make you the top-notch technician for any company and any business on any planet. So certifications is important, and it's more important for you as the individual, especially if you're trying to grow and make more money. It just makes it easy for a person to pay you when they're looking at your resume and when they say certified in this, certified in this, certified in this. They understand on top of your years of experience, there's really no conversation. It's really you telling them what you want, and they're going to try to work their best to get it for you. And if they can't do it, then you have to find a company that's willing to pay you what you're looking for. Or it may be some type of compromise where you can work out a deal to where maybe 1 to 3 years within the company, you'll be at the salary that you want to be at. But you have to negotiate that when you first walk into that building and have that conversation with whomever you're having that conversation with at that company that you're looking at. That leads me to the fourth skill that you're going to need to have, and that's communication skill. You're going to have to be able to know how to speak clearly. One problem I used to see in the field is where technicians used to write their service report. Let's say they go on a service call to replace a smoke detector. What they would say is replace smoke detector. And then that gets back to the office like, what smoke detector is that replacing? On the side, as I played as a technician, I didn't understand that. But now on the side, as the owner of a fire alarm company, I understand how detailed that is, because coming back, the customer is going to ask, what smoke detector did the technician actually change? Was he actually there? Did he sign into the logbook? So these are questions that the office have to answer in order for them to get paid for your time. So it's important for you to write detailed reports. I'm going to tell you exactly how I write service reports when I finish a service call. And I want you to take note on this, because this is as detailed as you can get, and this gives the office as much ammunition as they need without calling you. They can fight whatever battle they need with the customer without calling you to get more information, so that way they could actually get paid for the time that you spent 3, 4, 5 hours at a service call, right? So the first thing you say is, upon arrival, you found the system in whatever state the system was in. You found the system in normal operation, you found the system in with 3 troubles, whatever it is. You want to state that, because that could fall back on you if you're not telling them that the system was already in trouble or if it was not in trouble, right? So that's the first thing. Upon arrival, found the system in normal operation. Began to troubleshoot the defective smoke detector on the 2nd floor inside of the conference room. Tech replaced the smoke detector, and depending on what type of system, I work on a lot of Edward systems, so I would say at that point, tech used his laptop to map the new device into the system. Once the tech was finished, the system was in normal operation, left for the day, explained to the customer that there was no issue on the fire alarm system, and that smoke detector that was the problem has been corrected. No further issues or no further communications after this point. Sign right here. Please give me information so that way if the customer calls, I could pull up your service report and say, no, that was room 202. Go check room 202. You're going to see it's a brand new smoke detector in there. And then they're going to go check room 202 and be like, oh, my bad, Mr. Fire Alarm Company. Here goes the money now. Because they don't have a problem with paying. What they have a problem is people lying, saying that they did something that they didn't. And there's trash-ass technicians out there who don't know how to do shit, and they are afraid to say that I need help. You know, I understand, because when I used to call, seasoned guys, that's what we call them. When I used to call seasoned guys out there, they used to give me weird energy, not really wanting to help me. I don't know if it was job security, as if I get up to a level where they will get at, I'm going to take their job or some type of shit like that. I really don't know. I don't know what it is. My thinking is if we all are nice, that makes the company nice. That means we could charge more. That means we will make more. And that means the company will make more. That means potentially the techs themselves can make more, because technicians out there, especially in Local 3, they was getting guap. You know what I mean? 30, 40, 50, $60 an hour, not even prevailing wage, but just their regular salary, all right? So you have to be as proficient as you can when it comes to fire alarm, especially when communicating to the customer. So if you don't fix something, just communicate that to the customer. If you don't know how to fix something, you just tell them you have to escalate it up to a technician who will know how to fix it. There's not a problem with saying you don't know how to do it. It's okay to say you don't know how to do it, but don't be sitting out there fronting like you do. Tell the customer, at this moment, this is a little bit above my level of expertise. I'm going to have to go back to the office so we can send somebody out here to actually fix your problem. They will respect that. They will respect that more. Now, this leads me to my fifth technical skill that you're going to have to sharpen, and that's going to be the code compliance, especially when you're doing fire alarm, right? There's nuances in fire alarm, so you don't want to be an installer that knows when you're looking at the plans, you have to install a smoke every 30 feet. You need to understand why you're installing a smoke detector every 30 feet, or why there's pull stations every 200 feet, or why do we have to put horn strobes on the opposite? Why do the strobes have to sync? You have to know these things, and that comes with additional learning, like through ESA.org. You have to spend money on yourself. You can't expect a company or anybody to invest in you. You have to spend the money on you. So that check you get in, if it has to go to something that you think needs to be paid, and you have to make a decision with investing in yourself, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I made a lot of sacrifice. Maybe the rent wasn't getting paid for me to get my license. Maybe the lights had to get shut off because I wanted to take a class. I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm telling you is you're going to have to figure out how to make the sacrifices or save a way to get to whatever you need to get. So ESA.org, NTC.org, this is a national training center. This is going to help you with your NICET certification. And when you buy books, you have to buy books from NFPA.org. And when you get the books, make sure the books are tagged up. If you can register with these places, register with these things. Make sure you get these books, NFPA 101, Life Safety Code, NFPA 72, the IBC code, all these up-to-date books you need to get. The books I have is 2022 and 2021, so my books are a little outdated. I need to update my books. The main book you should have is the NFPA 72. So when you get all this material, you have a point of reference. So if anyone asks you a question that you can't, answer at that particular time, you can go back to your reference and get that answer. Now it's burnt into the brain. This is how you become sharper. You have to learn the nuance, not to understand that, okay, I put this here and I put this here and I wired up this way and it works. No. Understand the nuance will make you a better technician. So now that you learn the 5 steps to become a better technician, actually become a more proficient technician, you may want to learn how to program a fire alarm system. And here I have a series of videos that's going to break down the Kitty FX fire alarm control panel. So you can watch the next video on the screen. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Fire alarm expert out. Peace.